Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Today we've got an Elite Mod game for you. I know you guys have been itching for some Elite Mod, and I've got it here for you. And those of you who aren't familiar with it, lots of questions have been popping up on my channel on how to play. You can stop by at DoW2Elite.com. I'll of course put that link in the description, and that will be all of your Elite Mod needs. Mr. Eye of Horus, who I guess would be their community manager, would be his title, has been making a great job of putting up all kinds of information up there. He's even started a cool campaign for people to play in against one another. You can join the forces of order or disorder with other players in your rank and battle each other for points for which side can control the Maelstrom region. And just lots of other information, tips, info on the Elite Mod, and of course change logs and unit information, stuff like that. Anyways, stop by there. That's all your Elite Mod needs right at that one site. And be sure to check that out. Anyways, looking at our game, in case you haven't noticed, we're on a custom map today. We're on a map called Nids Never Sleep, and of course that's one of the maps in the Maps of War pack, which the Elite Mod now features, of course, for people looking to play some of the other maps that aren't in the ranked pool. The only thing I don't like this map is, as you can see, they didn't set the fog distance too far at all, so you really can't see very far in this map, so hopefully that doesn't become a hindrance in the gameplay. And of course the map is very appropriately named, as we have two Nid players over here. On the red team we have Mr. Floid, who's a pretty well-known Tyranid player, playing as the Ravener Alpha right here, and his ally, the famous, the well-known, possibly the most popular DoW2 active caster right now, Mr. Indrid from DoW2 Replays over there as the Hive Tyrant, Floyd's ally. And then on the blue team we have some well-known players as well, Mr. Sneakus Peakus as the Space Marine Apothecary, and rounding out the Imperium of Man we have Caeltos, the one and only founder and lead developer of the Elite Mod, as the Imperial Guard Lord General. So let's go ahead and get this started. We'll take a quick look around the map since no one probably knows it, as it is a custom map. We've got the contested VP way down over here, and then the two far-off VPs way out on the far corners of the map. These are kind of the natural VPs for either player, and as you can see, this is a very large map for a 2v2. It kind of takes up the entire square there. A lot of maps don't do that, and I think map creators tend to forget that most maps don't take up the entire everything. So we'll have to see how this works out. It doesn't appear that there's too much cover around. No green cover at all, I don't think. All there is kind of this yellow cover from the Tyranid little veins and things sticking out from these capillary towers and such like that. And a little badinage going back and forth here between the two players, some playful banter, the two teams rather. And we have standard builds up for the Nids as this first Tyranid, or Termagon brood, gets pushed back by a horde, actually outnumbered by the Imperial Guard there, as a few Tyranid drop there to the Lord General. So double Termagants for both sides. Caeltos going triple Guardsmen, Sneakus Peakus with the standard Tactical Marines, and Hive Tyrant now charging way ahead. Cover getting built as Caeltos was just commenting, and of course the Hive Tyrant is just going to step on that and break it. Hive Tyrant snags himself a couple tasty Guardsmen to devour, and in the meantime everything else is just getting backcapped. Hive Tyrant pushing right up the middle here, and despite this being kind of the middle of the map, looking around at the map, there's really nothing here except a lone requisition point. All the power, you can see there's a strip of 3 power nodes over here on the side with the 2 VPs, which is interesting because normally the power is on the side opposite of the VPs. So we'll have to see how that works out. Termagon Squad might be going down here already, but escapes with literally a single HP left. Tactical Marines looking pretty beat up, but they're in the hands of the Apothecary, so they'll probably be getting healed up and returning no problem. And 4 squads of Termagants out here with a Ravener Alpha. That's a lot of ranged firepower. Sentinel doesn't even want to get near that. In the meantime, Guardsmen had captured the contested VP, and we're going to see some VPs start ticking off with the red team here. But without any real cover out here, it's going to be very difficult for some of the squishier range squads to stick around under heavy fire. And there's really no tricky way to get melee in over here as well. Kind of a narrow pathway here. You have this one hill. There's no real way to flank it except to go all the way up and around by this rear power. Red team and blue team both powering up their gen farms over here. on the far right side of the map. Tyranids trying to fight the center battle again, where all of the ranged forces are for the blue team, but kind of for no real reason. There's no reason to be fighting on this side of the map. You can kind of just push the VP. What they should do is just fall back and probably head all the way up and around here to the blue power farm and at least force them to either split up a little bit or relocate, if nothing else. Because there's really no advantage to fighting out here in the open against so much range. Against Space Marine, you're gonna bleed more than they are. That's just kind of how it goes. Warriors now on the field for Mr. Floyd, and looks like upgrading immediately to a Barbed Strangler, which is going to be very useful against all this very heavily ranged build right here. We've got double tax on the field and the Apothecary Mastercrafted Bolter for Mr. Sneakus Peakus, and Caeltos, of course, being Imperial Guard, doesn't have much choice but to go ranged, at least in Tier 1. So kind of a little suppression going down, though. Those Barbed Stranglers hitting pretty nice, but not really going to be doing great damage to those tax. It's great to mitigate their outgoing damage, but what he really wants to do is be hitting these Barbed Stranglers right on these infantry blobs right here. And with the passive regeneration of the Apothecary, it's actually working out very well. Those tax lose a model, taking lots of range fire. They need to fall back, getting suppressed in front of all those Termagants. They are up a little bit too far. You really want to keep this formation tight. Apothecary getting very low, retreating with 4 HP. Oh goodness, I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention for a split second or what. Almost lost that Apothecary right there. The Warrior's getting dangerously low. One of those is probably about to pop, especially after taking a volley of blast shots from all those guardsmen. And right in the middle of tons and tons of gaunts. If one of those Warriors had popped in the middle of 4 Termagant squads, that probably would have forced the entire mid-army to retreat right there. So we've got a little capping going back and forth. Scouts and Hormagaunts battling back and forth on the far side of the map for the natural VPs. Contested VP constantly changing hands here. 490 to 451 right now. And nothing particularly exciting happening right now. Red's going to be a bit behind on power, as Blue is going to have 2 full farms up right now, while Red has the contested power node, but has no extra generators up beyond their first farm over here. But again, we're just kind of seeing a push and pull here, just a frontline ranged battle. Both sides kind of vying for control of really the center part of the map. And of course, it doesn't have any resources on its own, but this center point is obviously going to be a great cutoff point if either team does decide to split up and go to the either sides for the VPs. So Horma's capturing once again, and it looks like, yeah, we can see Sneakus Peakus putting all his weight over here and taking some flamers, dual flamers, right down to that red team power farm. Of course, Caeltos is going to have to fall back. He might lose the Sentinel. It's getting very low. Oh, but it falls back into the defensive shield. I'm not even sure if vehicles get the defensive buff from the HQ that Caeltos implemented. I'll have to check on that. But in the meantime, that Sentinel just barely escapes. It does allow Sneakus Peakus to burn down this gen farm. They're going to try to do the same. Red team's doing the same thing, hopefully, on this side of the map. Some more Ravener tunnels going down. Those Ravener tunnels are going to be invaluable on this very spread out map. That Barbed Strangler needs to turn around and either focus on this Lord General or get something in the melee, because once one of those pops, it's going to be no fun for the Tyranids. They escape into a tunnel, fall out, heading over here to push off Sneakus Peakus. Sneakus Peakus a little spread out right now, not ready to battle on his own. He did get the VP though, got the power farm and the VP, so even if he has to fall back now, that was entirely worth the push. Caeltos managed to hold off both armies without taking any severe losses or anything like that, and even saved his power farm, so no big deal. Tax aside, they're just going to get the heck out of there as they get swarmed by Hormagaunts and Termagants alike. Hive Tyrant very low, but sticking around on the field. Has his extended carapace and his rending talons, so that'll allow him to charge in and then do the AoE roar that he just did. I forget the name of it. I can't even think of it right now. Complete brain fart disconnect right there. Sneakus Peakus and Caeltos both in Tier 2. Floyd and Indrid still not quite have the power to get there. Oh, and we see a heavy turret going down here right in the middle which is really going to deny the red team the ability to cross back and forth through this central path and get to either VP. Of course, the red team has tunnels everywhere, so that turret might not even be an issue if they choose to ignore it. And in the meantime, we can see all of Floyd's forces up here trying to hack away at all these generators. Here comes a scout grenade embedding, but it might cost him the squad. Hormagaunts all over that. Oh, and a perfect grenade right in there. Takes out, both warriors actually get out of there. I'm surprised one of those didn't pop. If they had, that would have been very unfortunate with those two flamers moving in. All that AoE damage would have reduced those Gaunt and Gant squads to next to nothing in seconds. Ravener Alpha fully kitted out here with the Toxic Miasma, extended, or Hearted Carapace, not extended, and the Crippling Talons. Unfortunately, even with all that, he's no match for two full armies right here. Ravener's now harassing the Lord General. He's purchasing his Sergeant, and he's going to have to be careful. He does retreat. He doesn't want to have that Sergeant come out while he's in melee, because of course you do have to pay for him again once he dies. Once you see the Sergeant come out from the Lord General, you tend to see him not force melee nearly as much. Early game you'll see Lord General forcing melee against ranged squads and things like that, maybe even tactical marines, because he can do reasonable damage and mitigate a lot of theirs. But once he gets those extra retinue members, you never really want to have him in harm's way because they can fall rather quickly and they're very expensive to reinforce. So it looks like we're going to have another Tyrannid push in the center. VP's staying pretty even. Tyrannid's now catching up here. Having the home field advantage, you would expect these guys to go ahead and win this match. But oh man, I think I saw, yes I did, a whirlwind artillery vehicle back there and then two executioner heavy turrets. That's a lot invested in this center point here. Also put down some cover. That's the only green cover on the map is what he can build right there. And of course those turrets, as you can see in the chat, vehicle damage, so the red team is severely needing some AV. But all things considered, if you ask me, they really don't even need to go there. They can use their tunnels and really just vie for the VPs, forcing Caeltos to have wasted everything that he invested into those two heavy turrets. Because not only did he buy the two heavy turrets, but he also upgraded them to the Executioner, so it's a pretty heavy resource investment from all three resources, Red, Rec, and Power. So we can see 1-0 Kep right now turning into the 2-0, but these scouts in a lot of trouble. They're probably quick enough to get through there without too much issue. But yeah, they might just lose one or two members, if that. And man, center is locked down. We've got artillery and two turrets in the center. And the blue team can kind of just move around freely, not have to worry about getting flanked from this part of the map pretty much at all at this point, because if they do, the red team's going to be taking some serious damage from those turrets, and probably some disruption from the whirlwind as well. Both teams now have full generator farms up, you can see that right there. And Sneakus Peakus now upgrading his tactical marines to Stern Guard veterans. Of course, one of the units unique to the Caeltos mod right there. You can see their shiny white helmets. They have various ammo configurations for various threats, and just generally a lot tougher than attacks once they get leveled up. So we've got a nice mid-range blob here, a little melee supporting it, but we have a zone throw up on the field combined with the Venom Brutes and their range synapse. And man, just look at all that fire. I wouldn't even want to charge into that. They're going to try to break these turrets and open up the middle for them to run around on right now, but I'm not sure if it's even going to work out for them. They're doing some reasonable damage, but between the whirlwind and all that other incoming fire, attacks coming in from the right, Hive Tyrant goes down trying to stall out the ranged army. They're going to get one of the turrets. That zone throw needs to get out of there right now, though. A second zone throw has moved in on this side. Lord General moving in with his refractor field up. But with that whirlwind just raining fire and disruption upon everything, Termagants go down. And wow, that probably wasn't worth it for the Tyrannids to try to push this front line here. Oh man, look at those Hormagaunts just getting obliterated by that Executioner Cannon, doing such amazing anti-infantry damage. One lone Hormagaun escapes, Still trying to push and take out that turret, but it's not going to happen. Venom Brood's very low. All three remain standing, surprisingly, right there. That would have been a tough synapse relapse right there for the Termagants. 3-0 cap for the red team, despite not getting that push quite where they wanted. They probably needed to take out that second turret to really make that worthwhile at all. They did get the triple cap, however. They bought themselves some time. The two Zoanthropes are still on the field along with Venom Broods. Indrid's heading into Tier 3. Caeltos is already there with tons of resource. He's probably going to be dropping a Baneblade here shortly. And Sneakus Peakus heading into Tier 3 as well, only choosing to get the Whirlwind as his Tier 2 unit. So you can see, it looks like the Lord General is completely upgraded here. He's got his Sarge, he's got his Commissar, and he has his, this guy, I forget what he's called. Some sort of comms kind of fella. Calls in reinforcements. Anyway, Zoanthrope's pouring some fire into there. Again, I've just got a question after that last fight. If the red team even really needs to push the center. I mean, at this point in the game, everyone's teched up. You can really just start fighting for VPs. There's no real need to be pushing these turrets this hard, and it looks like it might cost them a second push. They're going to break the turret finally, but at what cost? Oh no, was that... Oh no, a warrior goes down, forces off the Gaunt squads around him. Tax getting dangerously low. Actually, the Stern Guard's down to 15 HP. Very fortunate to get those out. Left those in a bit too long. Just has the one member left. The great thing about the Stern Guards, though, is that that Sergeant is permanent once they upgrade the Stern Guards. So they will always be a 4-member squad with a Sergeant. So this melee force needs to go take out those scouts, which are capping on the back end there. You can see the red team capping the contested VP on the western side of the map. And now Venom Brood's trying to get in onto that Razorback, or sorry, Whirlwind, but oh no, there it is, the big, the bad, the Baneblade on the field right now. I love when the Force Commander shouts out, "It is the Baneblade." That's my favorite. There's really just too many calls in this game that are my favorite. I lie. I like so much about this game. Broodnest coming up there for the Hive Tyrant. Gonna have some on-the-field reinforcement right around here. Nid's gonna try to turn the tables and lock down the center point for themselves right here. But I honestly don't think if that Baneblade chooses to move up right here that they have any answer for it. Zoanthropes and Venom Broods can do some decent damage, but they can't stay on the field long enough against all the rest of this infantry to really do too much about that. Baneblade now engaging. You can see all those heavy bolters firing and the two las cannons there on the side-mounted cannons there. Of course, the main cannon and Demolisher require abilities to fire. They can only fire very inconsistently. See warp shots going down from those Zoanthropes. Now letting those Venom Broods move in on the Baneblade. Ravener way behind the lines. He's going to have to retreat right now if he wants to get out of there. Zone's getting very low, though. They have to fall back, leaving the Venom Broods stranded out there. I'm not sure that Ravener is going to get out of there with 2 attacks behind him. And, of course, that Apothecary as well. But it looks like they might not choose to fire on him. There he goes. They choose to turn and shoot at the last possible second. 309 to 193. Not looking too good for the red team suddenly as that Baneblade comes out. They really need to get an answer. Indrid, of course, bringing his own super unit onto the field in the form of a big, nasty Swarm Lord. Floyd is now Tier 3, bringing some Gene Stealers onto the field as well. Heavy melee, the bane of the Baneblade. Terminator's on the field as well, getting the Cyclone Missile Launcher, which does some pretty reasonable rocket damage now. We'll see how that is affected as this battle goes on in the Elite mod. Scouts kind of waiting over here, trying to cap this point. They're going to run into some Termagants, but might be able to deal with it if they get a lucky grenade over here. And Caeltos now bringing a Layman Russ onto the field as well, so that'll be 2 tanks, lots of armor on the field for the blue team, as you would expect from an Imperial Guard player. Scout grenade looks like it did some pretty decent damage. There's a bunch of dead Termagants over there, and the Horm is actually very low, but they may have just been not reinforced for the time being. When it gets to be late game, you tend to not reinforce your smaller squads and just use them for capping duty. And the Lord General with his full-out retinue a force to be reckoned with on his own at this point in the game. Over there, capping the contested VP on his own. But yeah, it's interesting that a lot of the major battles been happening here in the center, away from all the resources and VPs. So interesting to see that this map really kind of playing a weird role, possibly just because the players aren't too familiar with where exactly they need to be pushing. 3 squads of guardsmen now falling back. Swarmlord over there, starting to hack away at that big, nasty Baneblade tank. But it is going to be taking quite a bit of damage. There's another tank supporting it. Sentinel actually doing a reasonable amount of damage with those rockets. Nice shot goes off from the Baneblade, and here comes a follow-up right in the middle of the Nid blob. Oh my goodness! Knocking Nids all over the place, doing some nice damage as well. The range squad should really be trying to take out that Sentinel while they have the chance. You can't discount the damage that those cracked missiles do to vehicles at this point in the game. Gene Stealers and Hive Tyrant, as well as the Adrenal Gland Warriors, all up there on that Baneblade, with 3 squads repairing it right now. I don't think they're going to be able to get it. It's getting very low. Sentinel goes down to all the range. In the meantime, the melee's trying like hell to get that Baneblade down, but it costs them the Gene Stealers. That's very expensive. And wow, the Warrior Brood, does not make it out. I thought it was going to escape. I was just about to say, with 4 HP, the Warrior Brood narrowly survives, but it does not. It goes down. Those 2 squads would have been worth it had they eliminated this Baneblade, but they did not. Thanks to the furious and devoted repair squads of these 3 guardsmen. Look at all those guardsmen hanging out with their plasma rifles. It's not looking good, those plasma rifles, of course, tearing through the heavy armor Warrior Broods. And really not many tunnels still on the field at this point. Ravner, of course, can remain burrowed on his own, but I still feel like those tunnels are going to would have been invaluable on a spread out map like this. We're going to have to see what the Tyranid players can do. Swarmlord's still on the field, he's a little beat up, and now a Carnifex as well. If they support the Swarmlord this time on this next push, along with that Carnifex, they can really hurt Caeltos' current composition. They can push back that Baneblade and then eliminate those guardsmen with ease. But you can see you've got this big nasty Space Marine blob up here with the Apothecary in support, so it's going to be very difficult to take down any of these squads. You can see there goes the Cyclone Missile Barrage, and look at the damage that did. Perfect shot right into the middle there. And oh no, those Termagants just barely getting out of there. Or Hormagants, actually, not Termagants. Unfortunately, in the face of 2 Zoanthropes, you don't even want to leave Tax out there, even with the help of the Apothecary. That's just too much artillery fire heading into your troops there. Ravener snuck way back there. Needs to start capping, though. And the Cyclone Missile Launcher with a bit of a buff there. Actually, it used to do a lot of damage. Then it got completely nerfed, didn't do almost anything. And in the Caeltos mod, the Elite mod, it's pretty formidable once again. So there comes another volley, but doesn't quite hit as the Tyranids had just started moving after it got targeted. And there's just a lot of range damage happening right here. Oh no, we've got a creeping barrage going down right here. Oh, and it just barely catches 3 Tyranid squads. All 3 of them might be going down as the last few shells drop right there. Warrior very low, down to 100 HP. Terminators could teleport in if they have the teleport. I'm not sure if they teleported right there or not. Down to 30 HP. He's going to get away though. Dropped another Brood Nest, but unfortunately, 1 shot from the Baneblade eliminates that. Carnifex getting pretty beat up there with his Venom Cannon. Meanwhile, Hive Tyrant knocks over some Terminators, and the Swarmlord's coming in to cause some hurt as well. 3-0 cap for the red team, trying to even out these VPs, 200 to 93 right now. Quickly changing hands. These VPs have been going back and forth very quickly. Looks like scouts finally went down over here to a bunch of melee. And 2 big mean tanks hanging out here in the center. A third about to join the fray in the form of a Land Raider Redeemer for Sneakus Peakus. Gene Stealers once again on the field to hang out with this Swarmlord. Really, if you just get these 3 squads, the Swarmlord, the Adrenal Gland Warrior Broods, and the Gene Stealers, that's just a force to be reckoned with on its own. They can charge in with that Swarm Lord, with his kind of AoE buffs, really cause some serious hurt, especially with the support of those zone throws if they come up here. So really, all that needs to happen is for them to eliminate this Baneblade and possibly the Lehman Russ, which has been completely upgraded, sitting at, wow, 1150 HP right now, with its extra armor upgraded right now. But if they eliminate these two vehicles, all that Caeltos has is Guardsmen, and they cannot stand up against the zone throws. Or let alone the Swarm Lord and Carnifex that are on the field right now. You can see Ravner Alpha getting beaten up by those Stern Guard veterans, while a big engagement happens down here. A nice shot going down on that side of the map from the Demolisher Cannon of the Baneblade. But the Tyranids are charging against lots and lots of ranged fire. That Swarm Lord needs to get up there. I'm not sure why these squads are heading up there on their own without the support of the Swarm Lord. They need to be able to reinforce up there. And oh my goodness, both of those melee squads go down. Heavy turrets over here as well, so that's really going to make it difficult for these Tyranid monstrous creatures to get up here and do some damage. Heavy turret's going to go down to the Swarm Lord. That Hive Tyrant really needs the Crush Claw, because the only real threat right now is these vehicles, and that's what they've got to eliminate. Gonna try to take out the Lehman Russ. Spotting that is the easier target for the time being. Whirlwind coming down over here as well. And it looks like we might have another call-in. I'm not sure what's coming down right there. Or did it get canceled? Lehman Russ goes down. Swarm Lord causing some pretty serious damage, but lots getting taken as well. 30 points though, 3-0 Kep right now. It looks like Sneakus Peakus has been tearing up over here on this side with all his nasty Space Marine stuff. Another creeping barrage going down over here. Swarm Lord trying to chase down that Whirlwind. 8 VPs left though, and they're trying to get the cap, but there's nothing they can do on this side of the map right now. Unfortunately, Floyd got pushed back on that side of the map. And man, what a last battle there. If they had just managed to take out that Baneblade at any point and then take the VP, they probably would have been alright, at least for the time being, but it took them too long to make that push, and Mr. Sneakus Peakus was being sneaky indeed. Snuck around the other side here and locked down their natural VP, pushed Floyd back. And man, unfortunately, despite being the Tyranniformed map, Tyranids did not hold their home field advantage and lost the match. Caeltos and Sneakus Peakus doing a great job, getting that Baneblade out awfully early and making good use of it. But anyways, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're looking to play some Elite mod, be sure to hop on over to DoW2Elite.com and support Caeltos, Eye of Horse, and the rest of the dev crew on this project. It's a great game. I urge you to check it out if you haven't, because if you're a DoW2 fan, you definitely should. Anyways, this is Red-Rupee. Feel free to comment, subscribe, like the video, anything you want, and I will catch you guys next time.